It is a
Where?
beautiful thing today. It is the 22nd of January. We are over 3 weeks into the new year. And I'm glad to see we've got some excitement. We've got some motivation. We got some people doing out there doing some things. The key winning here is that you all showed up this morning. I was really excited for a moment. We had everybody with cameras on, even though we always stare at Tyler's ceiling in his kitchen, which is a beautiful place to look at. At least his camera is on. That just lets me know you're paying attention. So, other than that, a win for the people who are just joining the call, we start every day off with that. We start off with a positive mindset, looking for the wins, celebrating small victories. Even if your victory was, I woke up this morning. And if you're not quite there on that boat yet, it's okay. A lot of us haven't woken up yet. That can be your win. When we focus on the positive, we focus on the improvement, we focus on the plan, we don't get derailed as often. Right? I spent all night watching crash videos because I couldn't sleep. So one thing I've realized from crash videos is at a semi going 70 miles an hour, it doesn't matter what's in front of it, it's not stopping on a dime. It's going to keep going. So just like your business, just like your success, if you keep things moving in the right direction, even if something gets in the way, you're probably going to keep moving through it. Might slow you down a little bit, but it's not going to dead right stop you. What will dead right stop you is never getting started. That being said, who hasn't started their plan for the year? Who's kind of just been fickle with it, just kind of tingling with it, just seeing what feels right? Or are you full bore, full accelerator, put it in the fifth gear, let's slam it into six and let's get going? Because this weekend, I drove around, I showed a bunch of houses this weekend to a friend of mine. And as I was driving around, I only saw about 6 different companies with open houses. And I drove probably 200 miles around Tucson, and I should have seen 60, which tells me that there's a lot of agents out there that ain't working. And that's not a bad thing, regardless of the market you're in. This could be California, Colorado, New Mexico, where the heck you're living. Doesn't matter to me. The truth is, the agents in your market that aren't working are opening the doors for you to steal business. So, Tina, I guarantee some of the people in that red zone you talk to have realtors.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Haven't called them, that haven't texted them, that haven't sent them a love card in a while.
That's true, because one of the 2 that I picked up had one, and his name was Foxtrot in our neighborhood. He fell and hasn't reached out to them, so he lost that client.
Wow.
Newer agents that I talk to are agents that are trying to restart their business. And here's where I wanted to talk about our Monday. We have a mindset reset. And your mindset reset for today is it does not matter how long a relationship has been in place. If it is not serviced, it doesn't exist. Absolutely. I have known Steve Bunker now for what, 15 years? It feels like 30 years, forever. We talk very infrequently, but when we talk, it goes right back to relationship.
Absolutely.
Another thing about that is we get to share memories of the past. And I was thinking about this over the weekend is I feel bad for the kids, my kids and their generation, because I get to call my old buddies and I get to call my old friends and we get to talk about the things that used to happen. Oh, you remember the good old days? You remember when we did this? You remember when we did that? And we get to memorize and we get to replay it in our brains, which makes it stick versus watching it on a camera, watching it in film.
In person's a lot better.
Absolutely. How many of us have friends on social media that we follow? It's a very creepy term if you think about it. We watch, we engage, we follow along, and we feel like we're very tuned into their lives. And then all of a sudden they buy or sell with someone else. That's because you're relying on the phone, the digital. You're not connecting to the relationship. You're not connecting to the physical. And I know some of you are afraid to do this, but each one of you is connected by 10 numbers. Did you know that? Every single buddy on this call is connected by only 10 numbers. They might be arranged in a different order, but there's only 10 of them. What am I talking about?
Phone number.
So I can pick this up and I can go to Billy's Instagram and I can see what Billy's got going on in his life, and I can comment and I can like, and I could be one of 70 people that may have commented on Billy's new car, right? Next week, is Billy going to remember anybody that commented or liked on that post?
Nope.
What if somebody calls Billy up and says, dude, I can't believe you got that car. That's the one I've been thinking about getting. How do you like it? What's it like? Tell me more. Dude, come take me for a drive. In a week from now, who's Billy going to remember?
The one who called him.
Am I making a point to you guys this morning? Does not matter who's in your database. Does not matter who's on your social media feed. Does not matter that they know a realtor or 50. Because the old joke is you roll a grenade into any restaurant, you're going to kill 7 realtors. We're everywhere. We are. I'm sorry. It's like walking into a hoarder's house. You lift up a pan and here comes scattering a bunch of realtors. The difference being, just because there's 100 of you doesn't mean one of you is not active. I have watched groups of salespeople huddle and stand and bitch and gripe and moan about the market being bad. And man, there's no opportunities. There's no sales. There's no people to talk to. It's oversaturated. And then out of nowhere comes somebody walking in from the back of the building, right past the huddling group of negativity, to pick up a client. Oh, there's no business. Go knock on a friggin' door. I had a phone call with a clientee this weekend that was kind of complaining about how her business is down and how she's struggling. And I asked her, when was the last time you left the house? And she got offended. And I told her, good, because you got offended because you know you're doing it wrong. Mm-hmm. I like to make this analogy a lot. You can't walk into the gym, spin around a couple of times and walk out and say you had a workout. Just because you were there doesn't mean you put in the work. So just like social media, just because you're on social media and your friends and you're liking, your comment, and you're posting, does not mean you're solving relationship issues. Does not mean you're actually pouring into that person. A direct message, man. Hey, Sarah, hope you're doing well. Hope the family's great. I saw that you guys got a new puppy. What's its name? Trust me, that's a whole lot better than the comment, hey, great dog, what's its name? Because you're changing frame. And one step better is to make a phone call. Put them on a hit list. The other day, I say the other day, because the other day to me could be a year ago, could be 2 days ago. You never know. The other day, Steve called me. That's why he's on this call. Steve called me to talk about real estate. He said, hey, I'm thinking about making a life change. What are your thoughts? And we had a good 9-minute conversation. And that 9-minute conversation was enough for Steve to uproot a 25-year career. Instantly. He didn't even think, he wasn't like, I'm not going to pussy into this. I'm going to jump right out. He took his chute, he cut the strings, he jumped out of the airplane. He said, I'm landing. I'm making this work. 9-minute conversation. How many text messages does it take to have a 9-minute conversation worth of conversation? 3 weeks?
Yeah, easily.
If you're paying attention. Hell, since we've been on this call, my wife has texted me 6 times.
And it all comes down to how are they reading it as well? Are they in a bad mood? Or are they in a good mood? They're going to read it with emotion. And you may have said something that pissed them off.
No, Liza is absolutely correct. Tonality, word choice, frequency, speed of words, all these things matter. You don't get in a text message. But I'll tell you, you are not going to build a relationship unless you have a physical conversation. I got a phone call yesterday from a client of mine. I helped move into a rental 4 years ago. I posted something on Facebook. It was 10 acres for sale. And I said, hey, let me represent you on the buyer. This is a great house, super opportunity. They called me and said, hey, Dan, what is it going to take for us to get into a property like that? In a single phone call, they had no idea they wanted to sell, no idea they wanted to buy until something offered to them. And then it was a 10-minute phone call with me that we just kind of reconnected. We laughed, we joked, we talked about their plans, we talked about what they're doing with the house, we set up a timeline. And then Tom at the end of the call says, Dan, this is why you're the only realtor we will ever use. Because once you build trust, it's hard to take away.
Absolutely.
So I want to talk to you about that this morning is when you're creating physical connections with people, you're having relationships with people, you're building trust that's hard to take away. When you have a solid foundation of a relationship, does it easily wane? Raise your hand if you've got a friend that you haven't talked to in a long time, maybe a couple months, maybe a couple years, that if you were to talk to them right now, it would feel like it's never ended, that there has been no time between you, right?
Absolutely.
How many of you can say that you are that friend to your clients?
Definitely.
Tina can. I know Amanda can. Amanda Clark's one of our mega agents on the call. I know she can because her whole job is relationship building. Her whole job is connecting with people. And one of her secret things is when she's been out of relationship with someone for a while, she just texts them, hey, just drove by your area. How you been? What's your new favorite restaurant? And somehow they wind up with a gift card to that restaurant. I don't know how they wind up with that gift card, but they do. I want you to really focus in on that today. Is the agents that woke up this morning and wanted to show up for work, the ones that woke up and put their pants on and said, let's get going, or metaphorically put your pants on. I know some of you guys are still like not awake, are the ones that are taking business away from the people that are bitching, moaning, and complaining. Is the market tough? Yeah. Is it hard to get listings right now? Yeah. Is it hard to sell houses right now? Yeah. If you think it is. Tina got 2 of them this weekend. And I'm guessing based on the neighborhood, Tina's got herself potentially a couple commas and a bank paycheck coming.
God willing.
Just saying. It's only hard if you think it's hard.
Oh yeah.
It's only hard if you think it's hard, right? Henry Ford said it best: if you think you can or you think you can't, you're right.
Right.
You're right. So, is it hard to make relationships? Yeah. If you think it is. Is it hard to connect with people? Yeah. If you think it is. I was setting up, here's the power of connection. I was setting up a massage for my wife. I know I'm a great husband, pat myself on the back. She hurt herself, so I was like, I'm gonna get her a massage. So I called the massage place and I'm speakerphone. I'm with her. She's got her schedule out. I'm on the phone because she won't do it for herself because she feels selfish. So I'm doing it for her. And I'm on the phone and they pull up my name and they're like, hey, there's a lot of Dan Caldwell's in the system. Like, hey, that's funny. Let's do your phone number. And I said, I wonder how many of the other Dan Caldwells are actually my profile too. And she goes, well, I don't know. Are you the Dan Caldwell that sells real estate? I'm like, I am. She's like, you're big Dan Caldwell? I was like, I am. She's like, oh my God, I've seen you on Facebook. Which turned into a long conversation because she wants to get into real estate. Now, is that me actively going out and looking for this one person to talk to, or is that me just being purposeful about putting myself out there and being a connecting resource?
Put yourself out there, be that resource.
Exactly. Tina knocked on some doors for half an hour with her daughters. Tina may or may not have picked up extra listings beyond the 2 that she's already landed just by being there and making herself known.
Yeah.
Now, the secret sauce is follow-up. Tina better have written a handwritten thank you card to every person she knocked on the door to. And if she didn't, she's going to, right?
Yeah. We actually started last night after dinner. It's literally a family project. Like my daughters are helping me win. I'm going to take over that neighborhood for sure. Yeah.
Let's hear that. I'm going to take over that neighborhood. So today, here's your action plan. Here's your action item. What are you going to take over today? What area, what street, what block, what zip code are you going to take over? Well, Dan, I live in an apartment. Why would anyone listen to me? Because you're learning how to live better. There are 1,000 people on Instagram right now that are telling you how to drop ship and do FBA stuff that have never done it. They just want you to pay for their program because they learned from somebody who learned from somebody who thought they knew somebody who did it. Well, let me tell you, I've knocked on a door. I've sold a house. Tina knocked on a door and sold a house. You don't have to learn from somebody who learned from somebody who read a book about somebody who did something 30 years ago. You're learning directly from the source. And the best way to learn is to do it.
Just do it.
What neighborhood are you taking over? What area are you going to take over? If you aren't door knocking your own community, you're wrong.
You're
Raise
missing
your hand
out.
if you live in an HOA. One, I live in an HOA. Anyone else? Well, if you live in an HOA, go to the HOA meetings.
Mhm.
I live in a community called Shadow Rock. It's just on the other side of one of the most premier communities in Tucson. We're like the little stepchild of a big community. And in my community, there's a ton of financial planners, attorneys, doctors. I don't fit in at all, let me tell you. Everyone drives a Mercedes. I have a big lifted truck. It doesn't work. Well, the thing is every month we get an HOA letter. And in that HOA letter is about 25 people's contact information. That's the 25 board members and people that are on the HOA. Well, there's about 400 homes in the two communities. So next month we're going to the meeting again, and every time we go we drop off cards or cookies or donuts or something, and we just let people know that we're there. There are 6 realtors that live within a stone's throw from me. I'm sure. I only know that because every now and again I see their cars with the magnets on the side of them. I have never, and I mean never, seen any of their signs in my neighborhood. But someone might be concerned, like, oh, there's a realtor who lives down the street. They probably already have market share. I don't need to try. No, go do it. Oh, I just started. I don't know what I'm doing. They don't know that. When you tie your shoes, the only person that doesn't know how to tie shoes is you, right? Put them on, get to work. If you slip them on or you tie them every time, no one knows but you. Get to work. I don't know what I'm saying. Well, no one else did either until they started. Knock on your door, introduce yourself.
Yeah.
Build a relationship. Well, I haven't talked to that person in a long time. Then make the phone call. Get the awkwardness out of the way. Build the relationship. I don't know what I'm going to say. No one does either until you say it.
Mhm.
I have never met anybody that when I called them already knew what I was going to tell them. So if you screw up, they don't know.
That's fact.
But if you fail, and I mean if you fail to service a relationship, don't be mad when it goes away. You did it to yourself. When you don't hit your goals for the year, don't be mad at anyone else. You're the one that didn't make the phone calls. You're the one that didn't leave the house. You're the one that failed. And the beautiful thing about this, I know I'm being harsh, but if you're the one that failed, you're also the one that can win. Because I see a lot of people in this business getting out. I see a lot of agents that were decent agents that didn't learn how to prospect, that didn't learn how to go and do work, get out. And my daughter is part of a CDO auto club here, which is weird, as my daughter's never picked up a wrench in her life, but she wants to be an autos person. Well, part of her club thing was her and her friend Maddie had to go drop off flyers. And on Saturday, her and Maddie spent like 8 hours driving around Tucson to dealerships, car places. They would find someone with a really cool car and run them down and talk to them and hand them a flyer. And she gets home and she is wiped out. She's like, I'm exhausted. That was a lot. I'm over people. I'm peopled out. And I grabbed her by her shoulders and I gave her the biggest hug and a kiss on the forehead and said, baby girl, welcome to prospecting. And she had a revelation. She goes, you do this shit every day? Her exact words. And yes, vulgarity happens in my house. It's okay. And I looked at her, I was like, every single day. But think about that. How excited would you be if you had a house to sell and you knew if somebody driving a red Corolla was going to be the one to buy it, you would run down every red Corolla and hand them a flyer, wouldn't you?
Absolutely.
My daughter went into dealerships. My daughter went into AutoZone and Checkers. My daughter learned how people can be rude and friendly, dismissive, engaging, all in one day. But when she got home, she had this sense of accomplishment. She's like, we handed out hundreds of flyers today. She's like, we got 2 people to actually said they're going to sponsor, and I hope a bunch of people are going to show up and come to this car show. And I was like, you know what? I'm excited for that because this is some energy I'd love to see my agents doing. Like Tina, she went door knocking. See how excited she was to talk about that? How many of you are going to print a bunch of flyers for your open house and excitedly go introduce people in your community to it? Go to the restaurants around the corner, the mom and pop, the faux stand. I know in Denver, you guys have like a faux shop every corner.
Yeah, no kidding.
Go to the communities and talk to the fleet and say, hey, we have an open house coming up on this weekend. Got an open house around the corner. We got an open house here. Talk to all the neighbors. You get something to get excited about, it's a whole lot easier to build a relationship to it. Hell, in the summer, do a community water gun fight and invite all kinds of people. But the energy around connection is some of the strongest energy you can have. And having a reason to lead generate is one of the best ways to get yourself to do it. If you're door knocking just for the sake of knocking on a door, probably not going to be as efficient as if you had a door knock because you want to go meet your neighborhood, go introduce people. If you're calling a bunch of people on circle prospecting lists or your title farming lists, if you're calling for a reason, like you've got a buyer for a house in that neighborhood, or you want to live in that neighborhood, or you live in that neighborhood and want to introduce yourself to your fellow neighbors, that's a reason. You get excited about it. When you're having a hard time getting your Monday started, I want you to think about my kids for me. You know, my 6-year-old son doesn't know a stranger. He gets excited to meet people. You ever seen 2 6-year-olds get together? They're shy at first, like they like sniff each other to make sure that they're not going to bite. And then all of a sudden they're off to the races like they're best friends. It's that awkward first high five and then boom, we're best friends. At what age do we lose that?
God.
Get it back. Go make more friends today. Go make more relationships happen today. Get excited to meet people. And your reason for meeting people is because you want to, not because you have to.
Sure. Mindset.
Mindset reset. It's all about the relationships. Go back into connecting with people from your past. Share those memories. Hey, you remember that one time Jimmy knocked off Dane off the porch? Well, I don't know, whatever redneck story you can think of. Remember it. People love those things. You all have it. I don't care how much makeup you wear. You all have a redneck story. We've all done some dumb things. Some of you, like me, have done some really dumb. I'm really glad cell phones came out later in my life.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I can still run for president because some of the stuff I did is not recorded. Go back to relationships today, my friends. If you got someone on your heart, on your mind, this is the perfect time to give them a call. Just a simple, hey, you're on my heart, you're on my mind. If you can't make the phone call and it's a text, do it that way. And I'm going to share one last thing with you before you go, because when you send something from the heart, it connects. My best friend texted me Friday night. I haven't talked to him since before Christmas. It was Merry Christmas, you filthy animal. He sent me a gift. But he texted me out of the blue, out of nowhere. He goes, your drive to be successful is amazing to me. You have had so many ups and downs in your life, yet you always find a way to push through and succeed in your goals and dreams. I just wanted to tell you how very proud I am of you.
Wow.
As a 6'3" lineman that can beat up a polar bear, that still brings a tear to my eye right now. Because this is somebody that I call my family. He's my brother. I've known him forever. And out of the blue, I get something so heartfelt.
Too cool.
Who can you share that type of energy with today? My second question is, what's stopping you? So if you got somebody in your mind like that, go connect with them. Get back into it, right? You're 22 days into this year. Don't let people forget that you love them. Remind them every day.
Right on.
You don't have enough people to text? Go find some more. Go make some more friends. Any other thoughts, questions, comments? Did you learn something today?
Absolutely.
Always.
Yeah, this is great.
All right. Well, I'll see you back tomorrow morning. We got some work to do. Till then, big high five.